Hey everyone, I am Arjun. Today I will be speaking about how open source marketing is similar to business marketing. You know, first, this sounds like a wild comparison, right? Sounds really weird, right? Sounds like two different fields being compared to each other. How can they have any similarities, right? It sounds absurd. But let me walk you through this and let's ask a question. What do open source maintainers aim to build, right? What's the end goal of any open source maintainer, right? The end goal is really scalable software, right? Scalable, efficient software that any developer can use, right? And have a community surrounded by it, right? Now, what is the end goal of business marketing? What do marketers who specialize in businesses aim to achieve? What's the end desired results, right? Well, it's a community of customers or fan bases. For example, for B2B, it would be probably a community of customers. For B2C, it would be a fan base. For example, Duolingo is a great example of this. Their marketing is top notch. And how do open source maintainers attract a community, right? How do they attract a community to revolve around them? This could be for documentation, this could be for innovation. Communities help in a lot of ways. Well, word of mouth is the first way because, word of mouth, especially with friends and family, and then online platforms like GitHub or Reddit, there's r/open source, and the third one, speaking at talks and conferences worldwide about their package and making cool projects. Just being known for something can, get your you can get your open source projects some publicity, right? And how do businesses attract a community, right? Now, this is interesting as well. Word of mouth, right? Same as open source, online platforms, right? Like Discord or Reddit, all of those communities, press coverage by the media, speaking at talks and conferences, showing demos and technical previews of your, business. If you're a developer, if you're a dev business, and innovation, right? Innovating new things, making new things. For example, ChatGPT is a great example of this. They had really good innovation. They scaled. They got really well known. And paid advertising on Google, for example, or Bing. Another, last but not least, but free trials. This is also a great way for businesses to attract users. Like I'm sure a lot of developers, if you see a free trial for a product that you use, you'd really barge in on that. You would claim that deal. So what makes a developer use a open source project, right? First of all, transparency. Your code has to be transparent, right? Customizability should be customizable, right? Should be innovative, should be unique from the competitors in your, that are competing with your projects. And good documentation to steal from. Now, you need to have good documentation because come on, we are developers. We take a lot of code, we just copy and paste, we look at Stack Overflow. You need to also have scalability. That's something I think is important as well. Your product, your project needs to be scalable because that's also a major factor in open source projects. It also needs to be easy to use, easy to integrate. But let's look at what makes a client or potential customer use a product. Now, notice how this is super similar to the open source. How what makes a developer use an open source project, right? Notice how this is really simple, like really similar into the wording of what makes a developer use an open source project, right? Transparency, right? Of course, a good privacy policy, a good, you should know how your data is being used, for example. Customizability, especially, you know, this is especially a factor in what makes a client want to use the products, right? Innovation should be something unique, standing out from your competitors. pricing, it should be a reasonable price. It should seem like a reasonable price to the customer. It should be worth your dollar, right? It should also be scalable. This is something especially for B2C. It might be how well you're using your, how well of a return it has, your product has. For example, Duolingo, you're learning a new language, right? Or the iPhone, you're able to communicate seamlessly with individuals, right? Friends and family. Should also be able to should be easy to use or integrate. So you notice how, once again, I'll say this one more time. Notice how this is super simple, super similar to how how we developers choose a open source project to use. I just want to make the observation. So let's just do a quick recap, right? First of all, both open source and businesses aim to build a community or a fan base because that's what creates innovation and that's what creates a long-term vision because businesses as well, they need a community. That's how they get more users. That's how they get their fan base engaged. On the other hand, open source projects do too. They need a fan base or a community to stay engaged. They need more innovation, whether that's documentation, new features. So much is in similar to both of those fields. You know, now open source marketing generally it relies on organic advertising, right? It's not like paid advertising like search results, not usually, but business marketing relies on organic and paid advertising, both of them. So that's a difference in the approach to marketing. But both open source and business marketing have identical selling points. Both of their selling points, if you noticed, are really similar, right? So that's what I would like to say today. I would like to leave you off with this note today that you know, business marketing and open source marketing are really similar in their selling points. Although their approach is different, right? Of course, they're going to be different because, businesses have more resources than open source projects. They have identical selling points, and that's important to marketing because that's how you brand yourself. So thank you for listening into my talk. I genuinely appreciate it. You can contact me on LinkedIn or GitHub, and you can see my website at arjuncharter.com. Thank you.